This is TABcast, brought to you by the Alternative Board,
helping business leaders improve their business for a better life.
Welcome to episode 10 of TABcast. We're moving away from the usual business themes this month with Wakefield's very own Dom Hunt, WBA Super Welterweight European title holder, and we're going to talk all things boxing today, more around resilience, mentality, motivation, that type of thing, rather than the technicalities of boxing, which I'll just get lost on if I get into that. So I think we'll start with the title fight, the big title fight in Wakefield. A lot of viewers will probably have been there to see you win the European title. Just tell us what that was like after the journey you've been through to get there.
Oh, definitely. Firstly, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here, so thank you. And yeah, we're just going back to 12th of July. It seems a lifetime ago now. Yeah. Now you're back in training, but it was an unbelievable night. Because Wakefield, from a boxing point of view, we haven't had that breakout event before throughout history, where we've got so many people coming to watch. There were local fighters from the city on the undercard all the way through to the main event, which I was lucky enough to be part of, and it was unbelievable. When I first turned professional, my dream was to kind of put Wakefield on the boxing map, and that was the real start of it. And it was just unbelievable to think, I've really achieved something for the city here.
Yeah. And I saw you drop to your knees when the winner was announced.
Yeah, just relief.
How did you feel, right? Yeah,
just so relieved, because obviously after the build up and with you being one of my sponsors, you've seen like the tough few years we've had with the draws in the build up to it and the setbacks, and to finally get that one over the line, it was just relief. I didn't mean to do it. I think it was just everything. The emotion took over, really.
Yeah, winning in front of your home crowd as well. That must have been something. Was that your first professional fight in Wakefield?
Yeah, we don't have there's no venue from an indoor point of view to really have like a real good professional boxing show. So when Wakefield Trinity kind of teamed up with VIP, my management team, and said like, let's put this show on, it was fantastic, and they made such a good event of it. And an outdoor stadium show, it's what dreams are made of. To box in, your local stadium is just brilliant.
Yeah, the atmosphere was fantastic.
Yeah.
So from a point of view, you talk about sponsorship. We started sponsoring you, I think, maybe about 2 years ago at Tab Wakefield, off the back of me obviously knowing your dad particularly well. But it's been a great journey, going along to all the fights and seeing you sort of rise, fall, rise again. Just take me through that initial decision to become. What was it that prompted you to think, actually boxing, I might give that a try? And how did you discover that you got the raw talent to be able to push forward with that?
Well, the reason why I love boxing so much, and the reason why I wanted to pursue it, was it's one of those things where it's you versus you. There's not many things you can do in this world where you'd have to rely on any other people other than yourself. Like once that bell goes, it's you and another guy. Mm-hmm. And I know you need a really good team of people behind you in the big picture, like sponsors, coaches, things like that. But there's only you that can win the fights at the end of the day, and it's up to you to deliver. And I like that responsibility. I like the accountability of thinking, when you get to the arena and you think, this is on me now, it's my turn, everyone else has backed me, got me to this position, and all the help everyone's put in, it's down to me to repair that now. Mm-hmm. And I just love that accountability, and that's what boxing brings. Boxing gives you that edge where it's kind of you can rely on yourself. And how many people in different walks of life, in business, in other sports, where you can do your job really well, but another person, another part of the team can let you down and ruin all the good work and all the effort and all the sleepless nights you've had. Whereas with boxing, it's on you, and I love that.
Yeah. So one of the things that fascinates me about boxing is what you just said. You've got half an hour, but you've got probably three or 4 months prep for that little slot of half an hour that you can stand or fall by. So tell me about that process, how you build yourself up to a fight, and then what it's like when, because you've lost one fight in your whole professional career, what it felt like after all that effort and energy had gone in, that a bit of a loose shot made you lost the fight because of that. Tell me what that impact was like after all that effort and energy that had gone in.
Yeah, so the thing is boxing's one of those very few professions where one setback can really cost you in your progression. But then it's how you kind of, you know, if your mindset's strong and you're resilient, you know, you cut out the outside noise, you understand what you did wrong, what went wrong, and then he's building yourself back up. Now, what I did, I've always been probably too stubborn for my own good, and I was trying to make a weight I physically couldn't make anymore.
And that was welterweight.
And that was welterweight, which is 10 stone 7.
So you were fighting against your natural weight,
Yeah.
constantly having to keep your weight down.
Yeah.
And the big drops in weight you needed just before the fight as well to make weight. That would have taken a lot of energy out of you.
Yeah, it was, and it's everything that goes, like no one sees like the training camp. So like you said, you've got 3 months to get ready. And in that training camp, I had injuries. I had so many bad hand injuries. I had a really bad cut on my eye, so I couldn't spar the whole training camp. Everything just went wrong. And after that night, I sat, you know, you go home, and I was just sat there, laid in bed, thinking, and I was just like, right, in terms of boxing, nothing else could have gone wrong in that, you know, and that was just rock bottom there from that point of view. And it's like Sunday morning, I spoke to my coach, and I'm like, let's just get back in the gym straight away. And we just realised that we're going to go up in weight, and within 8 weeks we were back in the ring winning a fight, because I just knew that I wasn't going to let one bad training camp, a couple of errors of judgment on my part, I wasn't going to let that define me. I wasn't going to let one setback define my career. I'm going to be remembered for the guy who brought a European title to Wakefield. And if I could have easily give up on that moment and thought, you know what, this is too hard, this is too mentally draining, I just want a normal life, I just want to go and, you know, see my friends, you know, go out with the missus, all that kind of life. You can't, and I just thought, no, I'm just going to dedicate my life to this, and I'm not going to let one setback define me.
So you talk about the win, going back to the win at Wakefield again at the rugby ground. That was make or break, that, wasn't it? Because if you'd lost that fight, where would you have gone after that?
Yeah, he's to be fair, I think he's shown when the other lads retired after that fight. So I think that kind of shows where we were both at in terms of we needed each other to get to the next level. And I feel like you're a bit like
just to put some context on that, you fought him twice in Bolton on his home ground, drew both fights.
Yeah, drew.
Inverted commas, never more about that. And then brought him back to Wakefield, and without doubt, comfortably won.
Yeah.
So sorry, carry on.
Yeah, it's good to have that context, because basically, 2 draws that our team believed we won, and obviously you saw one of them, and he was kind of, it's like in business when you're competing against other people for a job interview. You're going up against all these people, and only one person can get that job. And this was kind of my job interview for the next level, for world level. Because like, if I couldn't win a European title, then that proves that I'm not good enough to go on for world honours. Whereas me cementing that win in the fashion we did proves that, look, I can go through the levels here. And that was kind of my job interview for the next step, really.
Yeah.
And that's what brought so much relief, because it was like all the setbacks were just like, right, done now. And I've proven that imposter syndrome of, am I as good as what I believe I am? That went, you know, it was just that relief of, I've proven it now. I've proven it. So that's kind of like, it was like kind of the job interview for the next level, really.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, one's retired and one's moved on, but they're competing for life, innit? That's just life.
Yeah. So what's next?
I'll hopefully have a title defence on the 8th of November. That's just been finalised now. I can't say too much on it just yet, but it's pretty much confirmed for the 8th of November. That's my first title defence. And I'm just ready to get straight back into it and show why we're the champion, really.
So then a couple of title defences probably, and then push on to the next level.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. What is the next level?
Just to mix it with the very best. I feel like, I've bought my time over the years now, and I'm really ready to push on and really just take on those challenges now. I've got to defend this belt now a couple of times. I'd love to fight at Wakefield Stadium again next year, like April time, and then after that, just welcome all challenges. that's what we're in it for. I think any kind of job, any profession, any business, you want to see how far you can go, don't you? You want to test yourself, no regrets. And you can't sometimes, like, you don't want to play it safe. You want to just push yourself and see what you're capable of.
So take it back to the start now, Dom. Back to when you first got in the ring for the very first time.
Yeah.
So if I'm right, you started your life off as a semi-professional rugby league player,
Yeah.
and then you took the step into boxing. Tell me what happened there.
It was just I just wanted I got into boxing just by doing a bit of training in my spare time, and I just went down to my local amateur club just to keep fit, really. And I never, I didn't show any natural ability or anything. I was just like a big lump, really. But the thing is with me, what I lack in kind of natural talent, I just make up for in just effort and grit, and I just don't quit anything. And I just kept showing up and showing up. And when I first started sparring and you get lumps knocked out of you, I'd just keep showing up. And then now I was just like, can I just have an amateur fight? Can you just give me a chance? And it was very up and down at first, because I was boxing lads who've been boxing for years, and I was trying to play catch up a bit. But then just the grit, determination kind of took over, and I was kind of beating talented people just through effort, really. And I thought, well, what am I good at? I'm not the fastest. I'm not the best boxer. I'm probably not the best fighter aesthetically, but what can I do? I can wear people down and I won't quit. So then you can build all that into a decent fight. And it's like in life, if someone refuses to give up, they're hard to beat in any form of life, aren't they?
And I've seen you wear people down. Yeah, win fights just by wearing them down, and they just run out of energy before you do.
Yeah.
And I think something that really strikes me as not as a big boxing fan, but somebody that goes along and enjoys the fights, when you're there at ringside, you can see the amount of physical energy and effort and the peak level of fitness you have to be in to get through those 10 rounds. So tell me about the mindset that you need to get from. So something interesting that I heard from Sally Gunnell, I went to I heard she was a keynote speaker, and she was talking about once you get to the level of elite performance, the difference between winners and losers is not the ability, because the ability is there with everybody. It's just that 1% of mindset that takes them to the next level and makes them win races. Do you think that applies to boxing as well?
I feel like boxing's probably 90% mental, 10% physical, because everyone's fit, everyone's well schooled, and everyone's at a good level. And like you just really said, it comes down to who wants it more. And when you're looking like in someone's eyes and you can physically see them wilting, and if you can give that perception, look, you're going to quit before me. No matter how hard you hit me, I'm not going to stop coming forward. You are not going to break me. You're not going to break me mentally. And then when you know you're breaking someone mentally, you know it's only a matter of time before you break them physically. And the mental kind of connection in a fight is huge, because you can see it in their eyes, you can see it in the body language. Do you know when you're in the corner and you're getting a drink and everything, and you stand up and it says seconds out, and you've got 10 seconds before the round starts again, and you see them in the other corner and they take that deep breath and they struggle just to get off that stool a bit slower, any kind of things. And it's so funny, because when I knocked down James in the last fight, I could hear his corner saying, oh, he's punched himself out now, he's tired. So they were trying to give him a mental edge to think, look, Dom's tiring. Whereas I thought, I'm just going to keep throwing and prove to you, look, I'm not tired. You're going to quit before me.
I don't think I've ever seen you run out of energy in a fight, ever.
No, that's because that's what I do, because I know, like, in terms of natural ability, I'm not the most naturally gifted, but it's controlling the things you can control. Like, I can control how fit I am. I can control my discipline outside of the ring. Like, do I eat right? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I making sure that I'm reading, so I'm still learning, I'm keeping the mind sharp. So all the things that you can control to better yourself, out in terms of, your physical performance, that can make the difference in a fight, because it comes down to the mental side, knowing I've done more runs than you, I've lifted more weights than you, I've worked at more things in the gym than you. And it's kind of that mental edge is so important in boxing.
So how do you motivate yourself to keep at peak right the way through those 3 months of of training before a fight? How do you stop yourself from dropping? So you talked about the fight that you lost, and you had all those problems during the training period,
Yeah.
where that knocked you. How do you keep yourself going? How do you keep yourself motivated for that length of time without dipping?
Do you know what it is? I love seeing the faces of people who I care about in my circle. I love celebrating any kind of success with them. It's like my dad's my absolute hero in my life, and he's kind of, he's really helped me to get to this position, as of like yourself and all my sponsors. People, we all win together. You were there with me when I kind of got it wrong that night, and you stuck by me. It could have been easy for you to say thanks very much, but we'll wait until you're relevant again, and then we might come back. Whereas you didn't. You stuck with me, and I'll never forget the people who stick with you when you're at your lowest. And that's the motivation. That's what keeps me going, because it's like, look, it's not just about me. It's only me who can win that fight, but it's a lot of people who get me to that position. And when you have, when you're so determined to, to celebrate any kind of success or any kind of win with a group of people, it gives you that extra edge, because it's not just about you then. It's about, what legacy you're leaving for your city, which I've cemented place in sporting history now for my city. That was a big motivation. And now the motivation moving forward is I've worked pretty much, half of my life to win that belt. There's no way someone's going to stand on the opposite side of a ring from me and take that from me. They're going to have to, it's impossible. Like, there's no way I'm letting anyone take that belt. So that's my new motivation. That's my new why.
Yeah.
So it's always having that why am I doing this? And having those little goals, like I'm doing it for my family, my friends, my sponsors, my team, my coaches. But then it's like, now I'm also doing this for me to prove that, look, I deserve to be here now. So there's different kind of whys all the time.
So talk to me about that support that you get from your family. Are very, very much behind you.
Yeah.
Always at your fights.
Yeah.
They live and breathe it just like you do.
Yeah.
And your sponsors as well. I see the same faces there at every fight I go to. What's it like having those people supporting you, enabling you to be professional? Because without them, you couldn't do it, could you?
No, because technically we only work 3-4 times a year.
Yeah.
We get 3 or 4 paydays, and up until getting to this level, the paydays have been very, very basic, really. So without the what goes into the training, you've got to eat right. So the food's expensive, in general. So eating the right stuff, buying supplements, all this. If it wasn't for sponsors, it's impossible to do. So having a network of people who are fully behind you, it means the absolute world. And it's kind of, I've never been the best in kind of showing emotion and showing gratitude. So I think the only way I can really show gratitude is by giving it everything I've got. Because I think these people have taken, they're giving up their hard-earned money to back me, as the people who do buy tickets. So the only way I can really repay them is just by giving it everything I've got. It's kind of like acts of service, really. It's kind of like, I'll show you how much it means to me what you're doing for me.
Yeah.
And that's the only way, because I'm not really, obviously I'm a bit stoic because of the job I have. I struggle with emotion, whereas I struggle to go up to people and say I'm truly grateful for what you do, but I'll show you how grateful I am by, dedicating my life to this and winning. So I hope that comes across when you're there ringside, you can see the effort is there, and I'm not just taking your money and thinking, cheers mate, I'm going to spend this on other stuff. I'm using it to benefit the training.
Yeah. And what about your family? How you miss family holidays and all sorts for the intensity that's needed for your training. How does that sit?
Yeah, do you know what? It's been tough. It's tough on them. Family and friends have been huge. I've missed family holidays. I've missed my friends' stag do's. I've missed weddings because I've been so close to a fight night that I couldn't risk going to weddings, stag do's. So my family have backed me. They've always said just as we'll back whatever you do as long as you give it 110%. And they've always been brilliant, and they've always been supportive, even though it's not easy on them. I think my mum would rather see me do anything else other than
Yeah.
get punched in the
You
head.
just get very nervous before
Of
the fight,
course,
don't
and
you?
I must put her through everything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like my missus. So that was the first fight she saw live, the last one, and it's like I put her through an emotional roller coaster. And it's the support like she gives me outside of training. Like when I get home from sparring, like last night, and I'm absolutely shattered, she's there with just about, how are you? And it's like, yeah, I'm fine. It's like, no, come on, how are you? You know, how are you feeling? And it's like that support network is so important. I think in any walk of life, you have to be surrounded by good people, don't you? Good people. Like if you're surrounded by the wrong people in any walk of life, you're not going to perform whatever your job is. You have to have that quality support network, and it's not quantity; it's just sheer quality, isn't it?
Yeah. Tell me about the training and the coaching element and how important that is to get to where you are now from where you were.
Yeah, well, I feel sorry for my coach Pete. He's completely changed me as a fighter. We've been working like full time together for about 2 years, and he's day in, day out constantly drilling me into working on different things, doing the same thing over and over. And like what I love about our teamwork is that he's kind of new to the coaching world, and he's an absolute hidden gem. Like he could go on and coach loads of champions if he wanted to, but he chooses like to work with me full time, and I owe him everything because he knows me inside out as a person first and foremost, and it's knowing how someone ticks, because you can't coach everybody the same way whether it's business coaching, whether it's sports coaching. Everyone's everyone's mindset's different. Everyone has different ways of learning, and he knows exactly how to get the best out of me.
Yeah, the best coaches tap into the person and get to understand how to work with the person.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that Alex Ferguson used to talk a lot about, was he treats everybody differently. You can't treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
Some people need shouting out, some people need an arm around the shoulder.
Yeah.
And it's the same in any type of coaching. You need to be able to understand the person that's in front of you and what makes them tick, what motivates them, what demotivates them. Understand the personality, understand the drivers, the stressors, all that. If you don't understand that, then you're not going to succeed as a coach. That's my view, and that applies to sports as well as it does to any other form of coaching, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, the coach that you've got now certainly taken you to the next level, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I owe him so much because first and foremost, he knows what makes me tick as a person, and without that, you're never going to get the best out of an athlete or any professional. And working, he knows exactly what I can do well and what I don't do well. So he's working on the strengths as well as the weaknesses and building, myself into a really hard person to beat. And he's the one who comes up with all the game plans. He does all the studying, and I just trust him with my life. And it's really hard in the world now to really, in business, how many times do you think you trust people and they'll let you down? But so when you've got someone who you can truly trust, it just helps your productivity so much. Yeah.
And I think that motivation, we talked about motivation earlier on, is that we talked about failure. The most successful people are motivated when they failed to bounce back up again and get up and say, right, how do I get out of this? How do I work myself back up to where I was? And that happens in business as much as it does in sport. But if you think about that going back to that, sorry to keep reflecting on the one fight that you've lost. If you go back to that, that was a game changer for you, really, because if you'd not lost that fight, you'd have been on a completely different path.
Yeah, and sometimes you need to realise, where you're going wrong, and that step back, that reflection of, look, I really need to make some changes here. It's done me the world of good, but I just think as well, it's kind of setbacks can either define you one way or another. They can either break you completely and ruin you and take away everything, or it can just be the motivation to kick on. But you shouldn't be scared of failing in business, because it means you've tried. The only way you're ever going to succeed is by trying, and failures don't define you. It's when you stop trying. That's what the only way you're guaranteed not to succeed is when you stop trying.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm not scared of failing because it means I've tried, you know.
So if those targets weren't there, if you hadn't got the target for you're talking about in the next fight in November that you're now going to have to get ready for,
Yeah.
if those weren't there, would you be able to train the way that you train now? Are the targets for the next fight to get to peak performance really, really crucial to keep maintaining that high level?
Yeah, definitely, because you can tick over in the gym, but then you need to have that goal to peak towards.
Yeah.
And it's nice to put a face to a target as well. So it's like, right, this guy, he's asked for this fight. He wants to take everything from me, and it's that motivation. Like I'm thinking about that person when you're training. Like they're not taking what I've got. I'm going to work that bit harder to prove to him why I am the champion. And then when you're in the ring, and you can see it in their eyes where they think, oh yeah, this is as tough as this, this is tough as what they say is and stuff, and they see for themselves then, and that's the motivation to keep proving that, look, you asked for this, so you can get it kind of attitude. And if I'm not letting anyone take what I've worked for, because it's taken so many years and so many setbacks to get to this position.
When you're in a fight,
Yeah,
and you're watching your opponent, and you can see in the whites of his eyes that he's starting to falter. Are you picking up little signs and little things that all add up to see that you can see he's tiring?
yeah, it's like when little things like when you land a good body shot and they take that step back and they take that deep breath, and they felt that one. Or when you land a good shot and they'll like smile at you, and it's like, well, you wouldn't smile unless you felt that.
Yeah.
So it's all the little tells, and it's kind of like when you've landed a good body shot as well, because the arms dropped, to guard the body a bit more.
Yeah.
And you always pick up on these little things, and it's like my corner's saying one thing, his corner's saying another, but I've got the best read of it because you can physically feel them tiring. When you're tied up and you're wrestling, and you can feel at the start they're really sharp, they're really strong, but you can feel them get weaker. And it's like, right, you're wilting now, you're tired, you're mentally thinking, oh, I'm behind here, and you can just see them start breaking. And the key is not to let them off the hook. Don't give them any confidence. You can't let people get confident, build into it, think, oh, I've got a chance. You have to destroy them mentally first, and that's the key of the mental battle. You have to break them mentally, and finding ways to do that is so important.
So you talked about the corner.
Yeah.
Do you hear what the corner is saying when you're in the fight, or have you zoned out completely everything that's going on around you?
It's funny, I could hear Pete's voice, no matter how loud. Like the atmosphere was unbelievable at Wakefield, but I can still hear his voice all the time. And but he's really calm. He knows he doesn't have to shout to me. He's really calm. So it's just like having a conversation. It's like keep your shape, which for people who might not know, it's just kind of keeping your hands nice and tight, keeping, the positions that you work on in training. And he just talks me through it. Whereas their other corner, I knew that they knew he was well behind because of the way they were speaking to him. Like, come on, you need to lift it. You need to lift it. You need to start, you need to start working. And that's putting added pressure on him because he knows he's behind. And you're basically shouting to all judges, look, you need to do more. So it's kind of the tone of the corner can kind of, you can grasp what they're thinking, even though you'll never hear what the other corner's saying in between rounds. You can tell with the tone of the voice if they're panicking, if they're calm.
Yeah.
And it's all picking up on, it's learning how to pick up on little signals like that, reading body language, reading up on like, the mindset of the coach and like, why are they shouting at him? Is it because, that they know he's tiring and they're trying to get him to go into his second wind, or are they just trying to keep him because his motivation's going, he knows he's behind? So there's so many things to pick up on.
So how much, when you're fighting, how much of it's muscle memory and how much of it is you're thinking about your next move? And
it's the game plans are so important, but fundamentally it's just two lads having a fight. And at some point in any kind of boxing match, a fight breaks out, and it just does. And then all the training you've done, you don't really think about it. You just drill that much into training. So you're constantly doing the same thing every day to the point where you just do it without thinking. It's like routine in any profession. Like you have you know, in your world, you'll have certain routines that you just do without thinking now. You know, you wake up, check emails, and without even thinking, you do it, you know, and that's kind of it's just the norm. And then and then you have to kind of make sure you're staying switched on. You know, your natural instincts do take over. Like if you know you've got someone hurt, then you just naturally pounce on him. But it's also remembering what's coming back and what he's capable of doing to you as well. So not to get greedy.
How important is it to keep check on emotions when you're in the middle of a fight, so emotion doesn't take over and take control of? We see it in tennis players, don't you, where emotion takes over and the game goes to pieces.
Yeah.
How important is that in boxing?
It's tough. Like, I'm pretty good at keeping a lid on things during the fight because I try and stay calm, because I think if you're not calm, your heart rate goes up. Like, I don't know what you're like when you're speaking or anything in general or talking to crowds, but like if your heart rate goes up, your voice changes, doesn't it, and everything, and it affects your breathing.
I'm a complete mess when I'm speaking. Yeah, I know exactly how that feels. Yeah.
So yeah, it's all about keeping your heart rate low, staying calm. But when my emotion comes out is after the fight, because you think, I've gone through all that and the judges have just robbed me and given me a draw. And that's when I'll like have me, you know, kick the ropes, or I've just let everything out or drop to my knees once you win. So the emotion comes out after, because you've just gone through all that, and it's kind of, you get one result or the other. Whereas in the fight, Pete's trained me just to stay completely calm. Yeah.
And is there a technique for that? How do you do it?
Just breathing.
Yeah.
Just breathing, constantly working on your breathing.
Right.
And that all comes from your coaching, because when he's talking to you, he stays calm. So he keeps you calm. And he's just like, deep breaths. And he just keeps you calm, which keeps you thinking, you know.
Tell us about that moment when the fight's finished. You know in your heart that you've won. You've done everything that you needed to do to win, but you're waiting on the result.
Yeah.
And the possibility that the judges don't see the same way that you've seen the fight. How does it feel in those few seconds between finishing the fight and hearing the result?
It's hard. The hardest thing is your fate is in someone else's hands, and that's what I don't like. I don't like that your kind of future is in someone else's hands, and all we try and do as individuals is try and control our lives and control our own kind of futures, our destiny, our path. Whereas in that position, that 2-minute window, you're not in control of your future for that split second. You've done all you can, and it's down to other people's perception of the fight, really. And it's horrible, because I don't know what you're like, but personally, I just like being in control of what I'm doing, because I think if I can control it, I can do it right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, I think from a business point of view, that element of leadership and running a business is about wanting that natural need to want to be in control. But there are things that always happen in business that are out of your control.
Yeah.
What you can then control is how you react to that.
Yeah.
And I guess that's key in boxing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think reacting to things in the best way possible is key in any walk of life, and it's accepting that not everything you can control. So like with the 2 bad judges' decisions we've had in the past, the only way I could react to that was just getting straight back in the gym and working even harder, and making sure that you put any kind of, you put the fight beyond any kind of doubt in the next one. And that's the only way I could control it, by just getting straight back in and doing what I do best.
You've no time to feel sorry for yourself, have you? Yeah.
No, and you can't, because you start feeling sorry for yourself. You get that victim mentality that, it's kind of so popular nowadays. Everyone, take accountability, think, right, I need to do more, bang, straight back in, and just keep pushing like that, really, because you haven't got time to feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah. So I think we'll wrap up. Just a little bit of advice, really. So a couple of things. One is young boxers out there, lads that are going down to the amateur clubs, who want to succeed and get to the next level, who maybe not got quite the talent that some of the people around them have. Tell me what they need to do to get to that to the level that you're at now.
Boxing is for everybody, and if no matter your level of ability, if you don't give up, you'll always have an opportunity to succeed. And the thing is, even if you don't go on to be a world champion, boxing will make you a world champion person. So there's so many qualities. But if you want to follow the actual boxing route. Just do not give up. Do not give up. No matter when you lose a fight, don't take it, don't take it to heart. And when you succeed, don't let it go to your head. Just get back in the gym, keep working, and just keep on that path.
You do need a certain amount of confidence, though, don't you? You see a lot of boxers coming into the ring full of confidence, they're bouncing. How much of that is for sure for the other boxer, and how much of it is genuine, do you think?
I think it's a bit of both. Like, you have to believe in yourself. Otherwise, when you're walking to that ring, if you think I'm going to get hurt here, you might as well just turn back and go, because it's too dangerous not to have that warrior mindset of I'm going to beat this guy. But then I also think a lot of it is for sure, because I don't know a single fighter I've ever met that when they're in that changing rooms and they come and knock on the door and they say, right, it's time to make your ring walk. There's not one boxer I've ever met, and myself personally, that don't think, right, this is it now. No turning back now. I've got to go out there and do it. And I've got, you start walking, you think, you walk into that ring thinking, I've got to deliver. And yeah, it's you've just got to back yourself, and that comes from the training camp.
So one last thing for the people in the business world that are listening, that I'm not trying to relate everything we're talking about to business, because there's a lot of things that don't relate, but some that do. So talking about mindset, resilience, motivation, for somebody that's in a business that's flailing a little bit, that's struggling right now, and there are a lot of businesses out there struggling because of things that are out of their control, what advice would you give them to keep going?
The best advice I could give someone who is a bit short of inspiration or struggling a little bit is, don't take advice or criticism from people who are below you. The best thing to do is surround yourself with people who know more than you. Speak to people who are successful. If you surround yourself with successful people, you will automatically become a better version of yourself, because their mindset, their mentality, their success rubs off on you. So if you surround yourself with people who've been there and done it, and you're willing to take advice from people who are successful, that will lead you to a much better place than either listening to criticism from people who've never tried. It's easy for people who've never tried to say, oh, the business is failing, look at them. Well, why haven't they done anything? And it's easy to take advice from people who've never done it either. But for me, it's all about surrounding yourself with people who are very successful, who can help you in any way possible, because you only learn from people who've achieved more, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, thanks, Dom. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck with your next fight and your title defence.
Oh, and thank you for
I'm looking forward to seeing you to win another fight.
Cheers, thank you.
So you can listen to TABcast on Spotify, or you can watch it on our YouTube channel or the Alternative Board.
And if you'd like to follow my boxing journey and see what I get up to behind the scenes in training camp, please give me a follow on Dom Hunt Boxing on Instagram. Thank you.